Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, today we got a pretty interesting show. We're going to be talking a little bit about Undisputed, Skip Bayless, and these guys. Now, as you guys know, the fallout has taken place between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It was something that we all saw coming from a mile away. But then when it kind of happened, because we had heard some word, maybe about 2 weeks before the NBA Finals had concluded, we heard that Shannon Sharpe was going to be leaving Undisputed immediately after the Finals concluded. And it turned out that that's exactly what happened. So Shannon Sharpe left. He said his goodbye. So we know that already. Now, after that news broke, a lot of us started to ask, one of the most important questions which was, who's going to replace Shannon Sharpe? Who's going to be his replacement? And at the time when we asked that question, a lot of people started coming up with various candidates. Now, prior to that, all of the firings at ESPN had not yet taken place. They had not yet taken place. So at that time, we were looking at possibly, we heard names like Chris Broussard. We heard names like LaShawn McCoy. We heard names like Nick Wright. We heard names like Joy Taylor. Rob Parker, I threw that out there as well, and a few other names. Then what happened? Then all of a sudden, we started seeing all of the firings that took place at ESPN, which started last week, Friday. Then we found out that Jeff Van Gundy got fired. We found out Jalen Rose got fired. We found out Keyshawn Johnson got fired. We found out Max Kellerman got fired. And then I started to say, well, why don't we go with this guy? Why don't we go with this guy? But in the midst of all of that, Undisputed was off the air. Now, initially when the NBA Finals concluded, I thought that the very next week, they were going to replace Shannon Sharpe and have someone ready. And I assume that the network already was searching for a new candidate. So I thought that they were going to start the show, actually, to be quite honest with you, first week of July. So this morning I was going through the internet and I came across a tweet here from Skip Bayless, where he made some very, very, very interesting announcements about Undisputed and its future. But before we get into that, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me just read what Skip Bayless had to say on Twitter. He said, LeBron isn't the only one in the lab this summer. Can't wait to unveil Undisputed just in time for football season. Mark your calendar. And then it has on an image, Undisputed returns August 28th. Now, I won't lie to you, that really surprised me. August 28th is 2 months from now. August 28th is 2 months from now. And I'm like, Undisputed won't be coming back for another 2 months? And I've been asking myself the question, why is it taking so long for them to return? 2 months? Why is it taking so long? And then the thought occurred to me, and I don't know if this is a fact, it's just a thought that I have. The thought was, what if they had already found someone that they thought would have been suitable for the position, But then out of nowhere, ESPN started firing all these people. And maybe they said to themselves, wait a minute. Maybe one of these people that recently got released could be a good debate partner for Skip Bayless. Well, let's look at some of the names that I think could possibly be good from the people that got fired. We have Jalen Rose. Now, Jalen Rose does know basketball. I've never really heard him comment on football. I'm probably sure he does know football. And I think that Jalen Rose is somebody that could learn football the same way Shannon Sharpe, who had a football background, could learn the NBA. So I don't think that that's something he can't learn. I mean, it's not like as if he's learning rocket science there. So that's one thing. The only issue with Jalen Rose and Skip Bayless is that they have a history. They have a history at ESPN where they had a fallout, and but they remained cordial, I guess, while they were both at the network. But I don't know if they're going to be able to make that thing work again. I'm assuming Jalen Rose is a professional. I assume Skip Bayless is a professional. Maybe they'll have a professional relationship. And to be quite honest with you, that was a long, long time ago. So you have Skip Bayless. Now, a person I personally would have enjoyed is Max Kellerman, right? I think Max Kellerman would be a perfect replacement. Why? Number one, Max Kellerman has been doing the exact same job this Shannon Sharpe was doing. He did that for 5 years at ESPN First Take when he replaced Skip Bayless. So Max Kellerman knows the in and outs. Secondly, I think Skip Bayless is going to need an anti-LeBron guy. An anti-Jordan guy, because he's the anti-LeBron guy, right? Now, I know Max Kellerman believes that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, but I have heard him come to the defense of LeBron James on a numerous occasion. And I think that he would do a good job defending LeBron. I think Max Kellerman could talk about a range of things. He could talk about golf. He can talk about football. He could talk about boxing if it arises. Obviously, he could talk about the NBA. So I think he checks all the boxes there. Now, some people say, no, I wouldn't want to see Max. To me personally, I don't mind it. I don't really mind it, to be quite honest with you. I think it would be entertaining. But this is just me. And I'm beginning to speculate that maybe they're going to do a rebranding. Obviously, they're still keeping the name Undisputed. But maybe because of these new free agents, so to speak, maybe they're now using this opportunity to widen the talent pool, the search pool, to go out there and see if they can interview, because there are a lot of people out of work right now that they could possibly recruit to bring back on the show. But again, I think a lot of that remains to be seen. But the most surprising part about all of this is to see that basically Undisputed is going to be going on a 2-month hiatus. 2 months. That's a very, very long time, because I thought that the show would have been up and running rather quickly, right? But obviously it must be more complicated to get this thing to work. And maybe I didn't think about it properly, because you have to think of the logistics. What if you're getting somebody that's outside the state of California where the show is taped? Then that means that person would probably have to move to California. If you're moving to California, you have to sell your house, get a new house. So maybe there's so many things. Maybe it's somebody that's not in California, and maybe the person said, listen, I need more time to move my family. And now that I think about it, it makes sense that it's taken so long. It makes sense. It probably makes sense to me that it's taken so long. So the question is this. Number one, what do you think about the fact that Undisputed is coming back right before the beginning of football season? Number two, who do you think is going to be the replacement for Shannon Sharpe ultimately? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments. We catch you on the next show.